It's great to be with you. I want to point out that Councilwoman Jacoby Pittman is here tonight. If you have been watching our city council meetings, you know that she has been a fierce defender and really very much, in my opinion, on the right side of the arguments, and always a voice for this community. Before I get into all this, before we start this, I'm gonna talk for a few minutes to take you through the budget. You know, we did a series of these before the budget as we were formulating. We came up with a budget based on the feedback that we got from many of you. A lot of the things that we have put into the budget that were suggested by our citizens have been removed from the budget. But we're gonna talk about that tonight. But I wanna also tell you that and I don't know how closely you've been watching these city council meetings, but there's also a very divisive amendment that's been added to the amendments that caused a lot of problems last week and continues to cause problems because, frankly, has no place in the budget. That's where Councilwoman Pittman has been just passionate in her remarks. I would be grateful for prayers that the hearts and minds of our council people would be open to hearing the pain that these amendments cause in our community. They don't belong in our budget. They are three amendments. One is to ban anything that could be labeled diversity, equity, and inclusion. The second one is to ban any dollars that could possibly go through a nonprofit that might go to somebody who is here undocumented. And the third is to ban any dollars that would go to any nonprofit that might have anything to do with abortions. First of all, we don't have one city dollar dedicated to any of that stuff. Not $1. So to put those amendments into a budget bill, because frankly, he couldn't get them passed the regular way because he would need 13 votes to override my veto. In a budget bill, he would only need 10 votes. This is Councilman Diamond who proposed this amendment. We're going to be debating that again tomorrow night, along with the budget, as part of the budget. If you feel as I do that we just don't need Washington-style culture wars and really these amendments only meant to divide in our budget, I hope that you will use your voices and speak up about that because to me we need unity in this community. That's what we need. We need unity. So now I'm going to dig into the budget a little bit. Bear with me, I'm going to make some economic arguments for things tonight because I've obviously got some very strong moral feelings, but I'm going to make some economic arguments tonight that I hope that will resonate with you and frankly give you some things to sink your teeth into to understand why we've done what we've done. I want to first of all also thank Pastor Charlie McClendon and Minister Al Jackson for providing this beautiful sanctuary tonight. Thank you for allowing us to be here. And Lynn Sherman from my team, who is also here, who said, I know where we can have this meeting, at my church. It'll be great. So thank you, Lynn, for kicking that off. So you'll notice that on the big screen you see our lovable sort of mascot. That's Rex, our beloved orange dinosaur at Beach and Peach. Everybody loves dinosaurs, but you know, we also don't want to get stuck in the distant past like these guys. It's really all about moving our city forward. That's what I'm about. I want to move us forward. This guy's been stuck in the same spot for a long time. But I'm here tonight to talk about the budget to help you understand. They say a budget is a moral document, and I believe that it is. So let me share the values behind this budget, starting with our core function of public safety. More than half of every dollar in our city goes to police, fire, and rescue. As you can see, we allocate the rest to things like infrastructure, that's your street resurfacing, sidewalks, etc., health, education, and so on. So how do we compare with other Florida cities? Well, as you can see, our public safety spending on a per capita basis is not out of line with that of other major Florida cities. We spend about $1,000 per person per year. However, as a total percentage of the overall budget, in Tampa and Orlando, they spend closer to 20%. In Miami, it's about 35%. In Jacksonville, for every $2 we spend in our general fund, $1 goes to public safety. Now, we choose to invest in our first responders because when a crisis hits, seconds matter and lives are at stake. We also have more than 840 square miles to cover. That's hundreds more than any other Florida city. And don't forget that we did strike a historic deal for police and fire personnel, including pensions for new hires, which is something that they had lost under the previous administration. They told us they desperately needed it back because they were losing the recruiting battles. They were losing people to other departments right and left, and they weren't able to retain enough police officers. I want you to take a look at this slide. This reaffirms something that I have said over and over again. In Jacksonville, we run a lean budget. Our overall city budget per resident is among the lowest in the state. I'm not bragging about that, but that's true. We also serve the most residents per city government full-time employee. And we're doing it with the lowest property tax rate of any major city by far in our state. Despite being efficient and the city with the lowest tax rate in Florida, you may have heard that some city council members want to cut this very lean budget. The other night, they did vote to keep our millage rate flat, as I had suggested. I have not ever suggested we raise taxes. I just said, let's keep it where it is so we can keep providing services for our citizens. They kept it there last week. They were down a member. And we were also able to hold off those divisive amendments, thanks to Councilwoman Pittman and others who voted against them and wouldn't budge. And I hope they'll do the same thing tomorrow night because they don't belong. So let me say a few words about the millage rate, though. They're going to come. All these votes are coming back tomorrow night. This issue arose during questioning at my last town hall meeting, so I want to make sure that people understand. Citizens requested a brief explanation of what the millage rate actually is. So think of the millage rate as the price we all chip in for every $1,000 of our home's taxable value to keep the city running. So we all have our homestead exemptions. Then what's left is taxable value, and we pay our millage from that. It's what pays for our everyday services. Pays for things like police and fire and rescue, parks, libraries, street repairs, all the things that we provide to our citizens. Each year, the city council sets that rate to match the services in the budget. Given that we as a city already pay the lowest rate in the state, even a small change, as currently proposed by the city council, can add up to a significant cutback on what we can deliver for our community. This blow would hit at a time when food, health, and housing affordability are major concerns for our residents. In fact, the proposed millage rate cut will result in the average homeowner saving, get this, a little more than $1 per month. That's what you're going to get back. What can you buy with that? That's about 5 cents a day, and it does nothing for the roughly half of our population in our city who rent and are not homeowners. The cuts City Council is fussing over represent a relatively small piece of our budget, less than 1%. But that's not belt tightening, folks. It risks compromising not only public safety and essential city services, it's just a gimmick. It does nothing to address the affordability crisis that is top of mind for most of our residents in our city. It is the result of political pressure from Tallahassee, and it is a political decision, and for most on that council, nothing more than that. They all know we are not in a position in this city to be cutting the millage rate. As I mentioned earlier, the millage rate cut that about half the council wants to translates to about 5 cents a day for the average homeowner, but $5 a day for a corporate landlord. It favors the people at the very top who are least in need of a tax break like this. But look at what that tax break cost the city collectively. Fewer affordable homes, more homeless, hungrier senior citizens, overcrowded emergency rooms, sicker adults, and all this adding up to lost economic opportunity. Here's the reality. We are the fastest growing city in the state of Florida. I know some of y'all don't love that. That's just the truth. But hopefully, as you're seeing, we're doing some good stuff around the city. We started our I Dig Jacks campaign to show people where we're building, where we're investing, mostly in infrastructure to make sure that we can get things moving. So you're seeing cranes in the air, you're seeing businesses choosing to expand in Jacksonville. Momentum is on our side, and we're handling it well so far. People from across the country and around the world are choosing Jacksonville as a place to live. So look at this slide. It took Jacksonville 50 years to grow by 500,000 people from the time of our consolidation to present day. At the current rate of our growth, the next 500,000 will be added in half that time, between now and 2050. Growth brings new jobs, businesses, and opportunities. However, the data indicates that without investment in our people, we will remain a tale of two cities, with parts of our city benefiting from this growth while others fall increasingly behind. Look at how long our residents live. Did you know that as a city, our average life expectancy is 2 years lower than the state and national average? On average, residents in zip code 32209 have a life expectancy of 69 years. However, in College Garden near UF Health downtown, just 2 miles away, the median life expectancy is even lower, 62 years. A good 16 years shorter than folks in your neighborhood, but an astonishing, no, that's not 16 years shorter than your neighborhood. Is it? No, it's 7 years. I can't do math. 7 years shorter than the folks in your neighborhood, but an astonishing 25 years shorter than those living in the Loretto neighborhood near Mandarin, where on average folks live to be 87. That's what I'm trying to change. I ran for this office. What did I say I wanted to do? Bring change for good, make this a city that finally works for everybody. That's what we're trying to do, because when we invest with purpose, we don't just balance ledgers, we add years to life and life to years. We also supercharge our economy. So tonight I'm going to highlight 3 investments the Finance Committee cut or reduced, and I'm asking for your help to fully restore them. Our budget is the people's budget. These were things that were added because you all told us they were important. Our proposals for affordable housing, addressing hunger, and access to health care won't solve every problem, but they are lifelines to those who receive assistance. They help thousands of people move from surviving to thriving. For the rest of us, it means economic benefit that comes from keeping our citizens healthy and in their homes. So let's start with affordable housing and homelessness. Now, we've all heard about the cost of housing lately, right? When a family spends more than 30% of their income on housing-related costs, that family is considered cost-burdened. In 10 of our 14 city council districts, the housing cost burden exceeds the national average. That should move us from debate to action. I've proposed nearly $12 million for affordable housing and homelessness prevention. The Finance Committee cut $7.8 million, which includes every bit of our local funding for making housing more affordable. These initiatives were a continuation of pilot programs that have a proven track record for success. So the idea behind these is to prove that they're successful and then bring more and more of the private sector in to fund these programs. This is not about expanding what we're doing in the city as much as it is showing a proof of concept and saying, hey, businesses, don't you see how this works for you? Don't you see how this brings more money back to us? And so far, we've gotten the attention of the community on this. So far, council hasn't gone along. Here's what these projects would accomplish in year 1. We would build 60 additional affordable homes. We'd help 85 working families buy their first home. We would keep 80 families in their homes by diverting them from eviction, and we would move hundreds more into transitional housing. The idea is to keep at-risk families from falling into homelessness. And when a family can afford a safe home, kids are healthier, work is steadier, and neighborhoods are stronger. Doing all that is the right thing to do, but it also is the economic imperative. These programs, which we hope to convince the full council to restore, would provide an economic benefit of over $30 million in the first year, a return on investment of more than 300%. If the moral reasons for keeping families housed do not persuade our city council, I hope the economic reasons can move the needle. Now, access to food. This is a quiet emergency in plain sight. Nearly 1 in 5 of our neighbors cannot reliably afford groceries even before you factor in inflation. Hunger in our community is so widespread that 9 of our 14 city council districts clock in above the national average. Hunger is also expensive. It adds thousands in healthcare costs per year per person. Every missed meal weakens a household and slows our local economy. We need to treat this like smart infrastructure. Invest $1 now to prevent a costly ER visit later. That's why my budget included $2.21 million for Meals on Wheels to support 2,000 older adults. These are people who are shut-ins. They don't get to our senior citizens, our senior centers. We have to take meals to them, and oftentimes it's the only meal they get for the day. We receive an amazing return on investment for our Meals on Wheels program, about $4.8 million in reduced healthcare spending each year. That's roughly 100% return on investment. And it gives our homebound seniors dignity. And I believe that's important. Let's be the city where no seniors or kids have to go hungry, and no working family has to choose between groceries and the light bill. Finally, access to healthcare. If you've tried to book a doctor's appointment, you know what the wait often is. Our data confirms what families live through every day. Jacksonville has fewer primary care physicians and pediatricians than Orlando, Tampa, or Miami. In 10 of our 14 council districts, the number of primary care physicians per resident is worse than in our peer cities. If you can't get to the doctor, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the ER. It's going to cost us a lot of money. When primary care is out of reach, that's what people do. Parents miss work. Preventable conditions become chronic. The human cost is heavy, and the economic cost is real. That's why I've called for investment in our telehealth program through HealthLink Jax and primary care access via Jax Care Connect. HealthLink Jax is for our uninsured population, and it has already saved us millions. It has been an incredibly successful program where we connect a person to a doctor over video chat. And a lot of times we can resolve their issues or connect them to who they need to see, and they don't have to go to the ER. The investment is modest, $3.9 million for these programs. Again, the Finance Committee cut them and then only restored some of the funding. However, we need that funding fully restored, as thousands of our neighbors are likely to be pushed out of the Affordable Care Act plans or Medicaid because of the bill Congress just passed. The Congressional Budget Office has told us that in 2027, when these cuts kick in right after the midterm elections, conveniently, we'll lose about 16 to 17 million people off of health care. In Jacksonville, that will translate to between 30 and 50,000 people, because Florida never expanded Medicaid, so we didn't have as many people on the rolls on Medicaid. But 30 to 50,000 people in Jacksonville will be kicked off their health care. What do you think that's going to mean for our UF Health folks and for people that provide those services to the uninsured? These small investments now really pay off in reduced emergency room visits and productivity gains that come from a healthy workforce. The investment from these two programs has a return on investment of 248%. Primary care is civic infrastructure. It keeps families healthy, businesses productive, and our safety net strong. So let me close with a simple truth. A responsible budget doesn't just fund police and fire. It opens doors to a set of house keys, a stocked pantry, and a doctor's visit on time. These investments pay for themselves and then some. If you want to dive deeper into some of the data behind tonight's presentation, visit our new data tank at stateofjax.org, which incidentally the Finance Committee also cut from our proposed budget, but we're still looking for ways to fund that. Hiding data from our people is just not a recipe for success. Got any business owners out there? You guys know if you're flying blind without any data to show you what is actually working that you're putting your money into, you're just throwing money down a hole. You got to know what works in order to know what you should invest in, and that's what we're trying to do. And so we think it's an incredibly important partnership that we have with the United Way on this, and others. My budget goals are simple and common sense: safer streets, stronger neighborhoods, and a city where talent meets affordability. Jacksonville is on the move, and now we have to decide whether our momentum will lead to shared prosperity or only benefit a handful of well-connected individuals. So my hope is we will invest in our people and our future as a city. I'm going to turn it over to your questions in just a moment, but I wanted to make a few remarks before I do that, because I like to pull out some things specific to the places where I'm speaking. I've mentioned in every one of my presentations that when I came into office, because it was a big priority to make sure that we did create a city that works for everybody and to address the broken promises of consolidation, we decided to move Districts 7, 8, 9, and 10 to the front of the line when it comes to city dollars and city projects. So I want you to know this, because sometimes you don't know unless you get more numbers. But we have increased our investment in CIP projects in the urban core by more than $80 million. Yeah, that's just in the last 2 years, guys. Just in the last 2 years, we have increased what we have spent on the urban core by $80 million. Now I want to explain why that's important. Because even with downtown, and I said this when I came into office, if you remember, if you came to any of my talks then, the big thing, yeah, you want to attract businesses and other people to come to the downtown. I talk about downtown a lot because I really do believe it will help us to invest in the rest of the city once we get downtown really cranking. But the way to do that is with infrastructure. That was really the big missing piece that kept people from wanting to come to invest downtown. All these investments, I've heard a lot about why are there not more investments on the north side. You know why? Because we haven't taken care of the infrastructure. We have to make it attractive for the market, for businesses to want to come move in here. And so that's why we made the CIP and what we're doing here and the projects that we're funding such a priority, because we believe that the infrastructure here is the key to creating more investment in this area. So just a few of those projects include the Harts Road Bridge replacement, the Lonnie Miller Park Master Plan, a new fire station at Fredericksburg Avenue and Sebald Road. That was another big deal just because that lowers insurance rates a bunch and it makes people more likely to want to build and invest in a neighborhood. And more road and bridge replacements, sidewalk and drainage improvements, and work on parks. We're also investing in businesses that have chosen to locate or expand here, like Congaree and Penn, Beaver Street Manufacturing, and Baker Sports. Those three alone total 242 jobs. We've got a new JSEB Center in Brentwood, and we're working on another one in District 9. There's also the Myrtle Moncrief Avenue B Business Corridor Improvement Program for storefront improvements. Yeah. And we offer grants of up to $15,000 for District 9 and 10 facade program as well. So these are just some of the things that we're working on. We really are diligently trying to work on those promises. And unfortunately, it's not a wave a wand situation and resolve those issues. There have been, as you know, years of neglect, years of not investing, years of redlining, years of all those things that have created problems for the urban core. And we are working to chip away at those, starting with infrastructure. So I wanted to make sure you knew all that. And now I'm going to be quiet and take your questions. I do want to tell you this before you line up. We had scheduled all of our town hall meetings initially thinking that the First Coast High School one would be one that everybody from over on this side of town could get to, because we only had time to do a handful before the budget meeting. Y'all were upset with me because I didn't come closer into the urban core, and I said, okay, we had one day left that we could fit it in. So this is the night before the budget, but I do have another engagement at 7 o'clock. That's why we moved it back half an hour. So I'll be here until 6:30, and then Mike Weinstein from my team and everybody, my whole team. Y'all, if you're from my team, stand up. Stand up, Donna's team. This represents a lot of our leaders from departments and elsewhere around my team that are here to help you solve problems. So whatever I can't answer, and frankly, they're here to answer some of the things that they may be able to get in the weeds more than I can. So we will get through as much as we can while I'm here, and then I'll have them take over for the end of the meeting. But I'm glad we were able to accomplish that. Okay, so if you line up at the mic, you don't have to line up. Just come onesie-twosies, and I think we'll probably be fine. Nobody has to stand forever, but I think we'll get through as many of these as we possibly can before 6:30, and then you can keep on going after I'm gone.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Mayor.
Thank you for being here. What's your name? Please say your name when you come up.
My name is Cary Grant, like in the movies.
Cary Grant, wow. Okay.
Now, before I talk real quick, I would like for everybody to take out their phone, Google regional parks, and once you get there, look at Ed Austin Park, see what the amenities are there. Lonnie Miller Park's supposed to be a regional park. Look at the amenities to that park. You know, now you see all the construction going on up there to the park. It's finna become a fabulous regional park. That money has to come from somewhere. The mayor has addressed all of this, but the city council wants to cut it. And if that happens, then money gonna start trickling back to where that park is not gonna be what it's supposed to be. I'm a homeowner. I have no problem paying my property taxes because I know that's what runs the city. Now you let Tallahassee throw you a bone saying that they're gonna cut property taxes. Well, like the mayor just showed you the numbers does not add up. They sent their hitman, the chief financial officer down here, to throw up a $200 million elephant in the room to get y'all thinking that there's something going on in the city, that money is being wasted. Absolutely not. If you just look around, you can see how the city is growing. Back in the 60s, they threw up a big banner said that Jacksonville will become the bold new city of the South. We've been struggling ever since to get there. We finally got a mayor. We haven't had a mayor like this since Pagula. You know, that cares about the entire city, not just the South Side, Arlington, Mandarin, but the entire city. And I see this stuff happening over here in my neighborhood. I lived at the exact same house for the last 45 years. And that park right there was a dumping ground for ash coming from the incinerator. And now it's gonna become a park. But don't let these people talk y'all down by throwing y'all a few dollars and thinking that that's gonna get y'all to go along with their program. Like the mayor said, this whole deal is political. They have been after the mayor ever since she became a mayor. You know, and you do not have to be a brain surgeon to see that the hidden agenda is to try to get the mayor out of office. I ain't got to name a couple of people that want that job, but if you pay attention, you know who they are. I want to appreciate the mayor for all that she's done. You know, like me, she is a born and raised Jacksonian. You know. I've been here 77 years, and I know how this city has grown. We cannot allow this city to go back.
Lonnie, you may, Carrie,
Yeah.
I was thinking of the park. Carrie, you may not be the movie star, but I'm in love with you right now. I'm telling you right now. Thank you very much. No, seriously,
Okay.
I appreciate the kind words. I do.
Okay, and my last statement: if the election was tomorrow, and it took my vote to get her back in office, she would be there.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you very much. All right, now y'all better be just as quick to scream at the people who are ugly to me. You hear me? You want to let's go over here and then we'll go back and forth, okay? Oh, I love all these people that want to ask questions. That's great. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening,
Good
Mayor.
evening.
How are you?
I am well. How are you? What's your name?
My name is Vanessa Shelton.
Vanessa, thanks for coming.
Yes, I moved here in 2021, and some incidents happened with JSO. And I went down to the sheriff's office and I made a complaint with Internal Affairs, okay? It was not received well, okay? And since that time, I'm being harassed. I have been stopped multiple times, not having committed an infraction. They have been driving by my aunt's house, who is literally right now dying from cancer, okay? And slowing down everywhere I go. I receive multiple calls from the department, Texas, okay? And I'm sorry I blocked them. And I would like for the harassment to be stopped. And what can I do as a citizen to live in peace? And what do you suggest?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry that's been your experience. You know, there is rarely one of these meetings that I come to where I don't hear, you know, some frustration with some, you know, situation like this. I hope that does not change your feelings about our need to invest in public safety.
Absolutely not.
But I will say that you know, I will say that in speaking regularly with the sheriff, I do think he wants to make a difference with this stuff. And I would love to get your information and see if I could find you somebody over there to have a conversation with.
Sure.
To go through what has been going on with you to see if we can't find some sort of a resolution here. I can't explain it. In every single organization, you're gonna have stuff.
Right.
You know, there's no question about it. I'm not saying there's an excuse for it. I will say that, you know, I think that the huge majority of those folks are really good people who just want to defend our city and do a good job.
Absolutely.
And so I would love to get a resolution for you and see if we can figure out what in the world's going on here.
Because I have the utmost respect for law enforcement. I have law enforcement on a low level and a high level in my family. And I just think that all police are not bad police, okay? No. But we just need to get to this so we as citizens can get along and respect the law enforcement who is ahead of us. And I have one more thing to say. It's a hard job. Yeah. It's not easy.
It is a hard job. Yeah.
And I pray for them, but I'm almost 65. I'll be 65 in December, and I just want to live in peace.
I understand.
And not having to go to the doctors, they're following me, okay? And my second question is...
It's okay. Just let her go real quick. Let her go real quick. Go ahead.
My second question is, I put in for housing, okay? Section 8. And I met all the requirements.
Yeah.
And the 4 other applicants was there with me. I called and they got approved and I did not get approved. And they called me and they said, you're approved, we're just waiting on a call from Section 8. And I got turned down twice. And I know you guys are having a lot of problems down with the Housing Authority.
Listen, we've got a new person in the Housing Authority who's absolutely fantastic, who is working to turn that around. I will tell you our biggest challenge right now is we've got an enormous waiting list for that housing. That's why we keep trying to put more affordable housing inventory into the market, because it's just, I mean, there's a 26,000 person waiting list.
Right.
I mean, it is unsustainable for people that actually need that housing. So, and I don't know what's going to happen in terms of what the federal government's doing. So, that I'm not sure what to tell you on that front right now. But I will tell you that we are going to continue to fight to get more money into the budget for these programs. And I really do believe this new, what is her name? I feel terrible. I can't remember her name. Sharon Corbin. She's fantastic and really has worked hard to try to connect us with every resource to provide more of that housing. So what I would love for you to do is give your information to one of my folks, whether we will check into both of those things, and I'll check in with her to see what else we can do. There are other programs, so let's see what we can do for you.
All right, thank you so much, and God bless.
God bless you too. Okay, over here.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Barbara Darby. Mayor, please excuse me. I'm glad that you are here and that you've been doing these town hall meetings to hear from citizens. I want to speak to my fellow citizens, if you would allow me.
Sure, go ahead, Barbara.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. I have lived in Jacksonville for 53 years, and I have seen our city make attempts to be a first-tier city. I want you to know that I support the mayor's priorities because they are right. They are moral. They are about equity, making a difference where long-standing issues have been left on the table and not addressed. That's why I support them. So I am here to say to you that we have power. Did you know that? We have power. And when we don't speak up, we leave our power on the floor. And I am saying to you, we have to stand up, we have to speak, we've got to call, we've got to write, we've got to stand in the gap for our fellow citizens. So tomorrow at 1:30, there is a prayer vigil at what was formerly Hammond Park, but it's the James Weldon Johnson Park, right across from City Hall. It's at 1:30, and I am asking you, your friends, your family members, to show up. We are going to pray for our children. We are going to pray for housing. We are going to pray for the homeless. We are going to pray for health care. We're going to pray for the diversity of our city. And then we are going to march over to City Hall chambers. And you are going to fill out cards. And you are going to speak and express your sentiments. What our city council members attend that I know are supporting this stuff, what I know is it's political. It's about their aspirations to move to other place in the political arena. It's not about the citizens who elected them. That's us. And so let's do what we must do. Show up tomorrow at 1:30. We will have Reverend Christopher McKee, Bishop McKissick Jr., Dr. John Newman, Dr. Jeffrey Rumlin, Bishop Henry Williams will be the primary prayers for those areas of the city that we are concerned about the budget. Show up. Show up. Take your lunch break at 1 o'clock. Be in the park at 1:30. Whatever you have to do, let's stand in unity and say to the city council 10, we mean business. We put you there. Come on now, represent us. Thank you.
And that's why Barbara is the chair of the African American Advisory Board. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate those words. City council meeting starts at 3 tomorrow, not 5. So it starts at 3. Yeah. The vigil's at 1:30. I just wanted to let you know that it's not long after that the meeting starts, and that's when public comment is, if you would like to make a public comment. Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, over here. Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Leetris Bell.
I'm sorry, what did you say your name?
Leetris Bell.
Leetris Bell, thank you.
Donna, Mayor, we came to you 2 years ago at the Legend Center about the same situation. And we represent the George Crady Bridge Fishing Pier State Park. Well, Duval, Nassau, and DEP entered into agreement that $35,000 a year would be allocated for the maintenance, upkeep of the bridge. Our bridge on the Duval County side has been closed forever. We want to know where's the money and when we're gonna get our side open back up. Because it's been closed, and as far as I know, DEP said that they had no intentions to open it again. Okay, a storm came through in 16 or 18, took out the road, they filed FEMA money, they took the money and built a boat ramp. They did not repair the bridge. They took some of the monies out of their account and they rerouted the bike trail from the old bridge to the new bridge. $840,000, that's a lot of money, plus FEMA money, plus the money we putting in, all the money we putting in, they said that the bridge, the Salt Bridge, is not repairable. We had a contractor to look at it. He says it's repairable for foot traffic. That's why we wanted it to fish. It's a nice area down there. It's beautiful. It can fishing tournaments, churches, all. We invite you, Mayor, please come down. Take a tour with us.
I will.
See the enjoyment of the people. Lady J, Jacoby Pittman, come down there with her dad years and years ago. Called herself trying to help her dad out and throwed the whole net in the water. And when he come back, oh, I wasn't supposed to tell that. But anyway, it's a lot of history on that bridge. It's a beautiful spot down there.
I promise you I will do that.
And it will be so nice.
I'm going to ask Nina Sickler to come up from Public Works. She leads our Public Works Department. Nina's going to give you an update on what's going on with that bridge.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have met with several folks about this, including Councilmember Matt Carlucci and Councilmember Gay. And so both of them are working on different but important aspects. So Councilmember Carlucci is working on the Nassau County side to help see if we can alleviate some of the amenities that were taken away. And so we're working with him to see if we can put together some support for that. On the south side, on the Duval side, we have obtained the inspection reports from FDOT. We are working with Councilmember Gay to look at what are some options that DEP may be able to give us in terms of opening at least part of those facilities in the future. So I encourage you to work with your council members as well as we work to find a solution for this.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, I just want to say, this has been a 24-year project. The Jacksonville Beach Pier has went down twice.
Yeah.
And rebuilt.
I
and
hear you.
beautiful.
Yep, I get
it's
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's sad. 24 years. And I was talking to him, he said, well, it take 2 years to plan and this and that. And give us another 10 years. Really?
I hear you. I do. We'll
Thank
see
you.
what
Thank
we can
you so
find out.
much.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I appreciate you being here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm Roderick Frazier. I'm not a resident of 32209. I'm an East Sider, so I represent 32206, actually Long Branch Manor. And I was present when you signed the CBA. I was there. But some of us feel it's a little bit too much focus on the Oakland area. And that historic East Side consists of 5 boroughs. That's Oakland, Fairfield, Campbell's Addition, Phoenix, and Long Branch Manor, which is north where Long Branch Elementary is. So I just want something to say, okay, the money that the historic East Side is going to get, that it would be fairly, equally distributed, and Long Branch Manor will benefit from the CBA and not just the Oakland area around the stadium.
Okay, so just so you know, we are putting together the parameters of the committees from the neighborhoods that are going to make the recommendations for how those monies are spent. I have never heard anybody even suggest that the lion's share of that money should go to the Oakland neighborhood. It makes sense to me that if that investment's going into the historic East Side, it should be relatively evenly divided there. But that's why we're developing committees of the neighborhoods to make sure that we divide that money in the way that we should. But make sure that you take part in that process if you possibly can.
I work in Europe, so usually I'm away.
Okay.
Probably 90% of the year. So I'm usually gone, so I have to come in when I
Gotcha.
can. And then secondly, with the redevelopment of the stadium, I know it's going to be gentrification over there. And a lot of the residents in that area will not be able to afford the taxes over there. So I want to know what you plan on doing about that, about the tax situations, because a lot of people may not be financially set.
Yeah, these are all things. Look, anytime you have a revitalization of any area, there's going to be some of that, but it's a balancing act, right? You have to try to make sure that you're creating affordable spaces and make sure that people can stay in their homes if they want to. This is all going to be part of this process as we're looking at what we're not even at the starting point yet because we don't have the committees. But I hear you. I've heard those concerns. We've met with some of those citizens, and we are going to do our very best to make sure, like we As I've said with all the affordable housing initiatives, we are working very hard to create a balance in these areas that are going to be revitalized. We want the revitalization, but we don't want people to have to leave their homes.
Now, I emailed Jax Parks and Jacoby Pittman's office several times. I'm trying to get a double pickleball court in Long Branch Manor,
Okay.
and a covered basketball court like they have on Moncrief and Long Branch Community Center for the seniors. I would like to see that remodeled. I haven't gotten the answer yet that I'm seeking. And lastly, the first Bitcoin transaction, a lot of people who know me, they know I did very well in cryptocurrency. So the first major transaction was from here in Jacksonville by a Jacksonville resident. So a couple years ago, I presented some information to someone who's a part of your team, and I was saying, hey, are we gonna leverage what's getting ready to happen with cryptocurrency? Because I wanted you and your staff to reach out to the CEO of MicroStrategy, which is Michael Saylor at the time. I feel like if we leveraged cryptocurrency the right way, the budget may be able to, to work itself. Because a lot of cities now, like Miami, they are trying to become the crypto city of Florida. And I think Jacksonville should take that throne, and we should have something going on as far as cryptocurrency and conventions and stuff like that here in the city. So I just wanted to say that because I already said that a couple
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is R.C. Jones Jr. I reside at 4288 McDaniel Drive. Been staying there for the last 55 years. And I support Sister Bill because I like to go down to the Sounds to fish also. And they've cut that bridge in half, they've cut that pier about in half. And I also support Sister Barbara. I'm gonna be down there, Sister Barbara, if you're still here. I think that was her name, Barbara. Now I'm gonna be a little bit selfish. Behind my house is a alley.
Is a what?
Alley.
An alley, okay.
Alley. I've been calling the city. I've called my council person. I think her name is Murray, District 9. And her clerk called me back one time about a month and a half ago. The problem I'm having is that alleyway, there's a fallen tree that's coming into the alleyway, and rats are abundant. I can't get nobody out there to move that. And this is city property. Let me back up.
Okay.
This is city property. The alleyway is city property.
Okay.
They used to come out there to do something down that alley. I'm not sure
Okay.
what they did. But it is city property, and they're telling the residents that anything above ground, they have to take care of it.
Yeah.
For the most part, we cut the grass back there. We cut all the grass back there. Most of the residents
But
do.
you can't get rid of the tree.
So we can't get rid of the tree. And none of the residents want to go out there and move
I'm
that tree.
gonna let Nina get your contact information, and we're gonna follow up and see what we can do to take care of that, okay?
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. Nina is always very busy at these meetings. Would you come over here and see her and give her your contact information? I should just have Nina come up here, really, because that's really what happens. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hi. My name is Mrs. Reed. Nice to see you all. I live right down from Lana Miller Park. I've been in a resident down there for 57 years. And all of my life, we've never seen where they're going to put a halfway house in there with 15 to 20 guys in this house between me and my neighbor that's sitting there. There was no permit or nothing going around for us to sign the saying that we want this there. Okay, you got these guys going in and out all time of night, and we live in a section where mostly the elder people. And we also have kids that walk to school in the morning time between 5:30 and 6 to catch the bus. And you're doing walking in the morning, taking your exercise. We don't know what's coming in or coming out of there. And I would like to know what's going to be done about them put a halfway house in a resident area.
Can I ask you something? How long have they been there?
Maybe about a month and a half.
Month and a half? Have they caused any problems for you?
Well, no, they hadn't. Well, the guys be in and out. They hadn't. But then is there no one to, to supervise them? And then we live in an area. There was nobody coming saying, "Hey, we're gonna put a halfway house here," and we, you got they going in and out.
Yeah.
And you got to be cautious. And you got to be safe.
Yeah.
And you got these elder people, scared to go out and sit on their front porch because you don't know what coming in and coming by.
Okay. That's how close it is? Okay. I don't know about this. Let me let Melissa get your information, and we will
Okay.
check out for you what the situation is there. I don't know anything about it, so I can't really speak to it, but I'm happy to run it down for you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Serafina Beatty.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Serafina Beatty. I am a veteran. I came back to Jacksonville.
Thank you
and
for
I'm
coming
working.
back.
I just have a question. So, coming back, one of my jobs is a substitute teacher. I haven't been hesitant about being full-time as a teacher because I've been talking to a lot of full-time teachers who are retiring either early or they are no longer wanting to teach in Duval County because they feel restricted as far as teaching lessons about like phonics and different things like that. We have several generations that a lot of teachers feel like are not capable of reading. And the studies do show that low literacy ties to higher crime rates. So I was just wondering what steps are the city taking to support stronger literacy programs, you know, in our schools for our children so they can learn how to read and reduce crime in the long run.
Well, thank you very much for asking that question. We have focused very heavily on literacy since I came into office. We started a program called Mayor Deegan's River City Readers, where we focused in heavily on trying to make sure that our kids were reading at third grade level. And so, and we just got a $1 million donation from former Mayor Payton to send free books to every preschooler, every four-year-old in the city. Our literacy numbers are improving in our targeted areas where our literacy was really the lowest quite dramatically. I don't know if Dr. Grass is here still. She may have had to leave to go to, is she still here? She just left, darn. We work with her through Kids Hope Alliance, and I wish I had the literacy numbers in my head, but I don't. But they've improved quite dramatically since we started focusing. There are a number of programs that we've run, not only through Mayor Deegan's River City Readers, but through Kids Hope Alliance that are really dramatically affecting the literacy numbers in a positive way. So I would say that's been added really as a top priority for us because we came in, we saw the numbers, and we said we got to move the dial on that. So I really do think that what we've done is we've asked parents to read to their kids 20 minutes a day. Log that on an app that we provide, that we ask them to download, and then we have prizes and all sorts of fun stuff. We have a bookmobile that we take around the city to meet with kids around the city too, and that's been something that children in the grade schools have loved. I would simply say I would encourage you, if you love children and you have a heart for teaching, please do it because we need good teachers so badly, and our kids need that example, and I promise you I am doing everything I can to partner with the schools. As you know, I don't have any sort of authority over our school system, but I do have a partnership with Dr. Bernier and Duval County Schools, and we're working together to try to move the dial on that stuff. So thank you so much. Appreciate you.
It's
Yes.
6:30.
Is it? Okay.
Don't
Okay.
be like your
You'll
cousin.
probably be my
Don't
last.
be like
Yeah,
your
you'll probably be my
Okay.
last. I'll bring Mike up for the rest of them, but wait, go ahead and I'll.
Okay, this is easy. There were wonderful people about voting. I told Donna when she started running, you better get a city council, and you gotta have more than 8, 9, or 10 to get everything passed. So we didn't do our jobs on the city council, so we need to do our jobs to elect more city council people that support. Now, here's my problem.
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, and I know how the budget works. I know how people make plans. I know who gets the ears of their district city councilmen. It's the people that supported them and got their money. They are looking at South Side, the San Marco Park. They're looking at, according to your director of recreation, repurposing it. Now, repurposing could mean a lot or not, but they're looking at moving the tennis courts. They're planning for it. I have it in writing from him, and I also have it from the city council person.
Okay.
I will gladly let them just maintain the parks and the tennis things, and y'all can have it, whatever they were gonna spend for Lonnie Miller. I can't do that, but I don't know if it's in your budget. I don't know where it's in the capital improvements. It could be 50 years from now before it's ever done. but they should not be doing it. You should not take a place that has courts already built, a park around it, a library, a community center, and a playground for children, and pickleball courts that y'all just paid like $200,000 to put in, and now talk about repurposing it. That is a waste of taxpayers' dollars. When
Okay.
there's
Well, thank you.
more
I appreciate that.
recreation all over the city.
Daryl, do you want to make any comment? Daryl Joseph, our Director of Parks.
Well, first off, good evening. Yes, I did email with you. I responded back to your email. That was a request coming from a city council member as relates to how he wanted to move forward with his district and his funding for his district. One of the things that we have done here in Jacksonville is get creative as relate to how we use the space up under I-95. We always talk about shade. I-95 provides shade. We will be one of the first cities to actually put courts up under I-95. So that is something that we are exploring. So I don't play tennis, I don't play pickleball, but we are going to confer with folks that do play tennis, do play pickleball. At the end of the day, we have 405 parks in the city of Jacksonville. The goal is to make it better. If we can't make it better, I can promise you it won't happen. But the goal is to make it better. At this point, it's an idea, it's a concept that we're looking at.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to have to go, guys, but I want Mike Weinstein, who is my Chief of Staff, to come up here, and he'll answer the rest of your questions, and probably in a much more articulate fashion than myself. So, Mike, thank you very much. He has been such a great partner.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, everybody. I love you. Thanks for showing up.
Now let's spend some money. Let's spend some money. Yes, sir.
My name is Lou Myers. I've been a resident of Jacksonville since I retired from the Navy in 1971. During that time, I have seen many changes in the city, but in the recent years, I have seen some tremendous improvement in the condition of the streets, the trash on the side of the roads, and I give our mayor credit for making the city a lot better than it used to be. Also, I'd like to say when I read where the city council cut the Meals on Wheels almost to the bone, years ago my church was the conduit for Meals on Wheels. They brought the meals to our church, Woodlawn Presbyterian, and the volunteers from the church delivered those meals. And I was one of those that delivered meals to these seniors for years. And I can tell you, when we go deliver those meals, you see the people sitting at the window looking out, and when they see you come up, they start smiling. And if we were late than normal hours, they get concerned that they're not going to have a meal that day. So the people that with no moral compass to cut Meals on Wheels should get out there and see what it really is like when the rubber meets the road.
Well, thank you. Just to add a little bit to that, Mayor has proposed multiple $million increases on roads and sidewalks and what have you for the years that she's been in there. Also on Meals on Wheels, we recommended about a $2.2 million increase to take the waiting list for Meals on Wheels down from almost 3,000 down to about 900. Council took it away, and then they put back a little bit, so the waiting list might be about 1,600 if the budget passes as is tomorrow night. We tried to get it down under 1,000, but we're working on it. Yes.
Thank you. So I'm going to turn my timer on, 2 minutes.
Well, that's nice. You hear that? 2 minutes.
So I just wanted to say thank you to the mayor for being the moral compass for this city and for using values-based decision-making, as her compass as well for all of the decisions that she makes to move the city forward. I also want to say hello to Jacoby, Pat, and Lynn. She's surrounded herself with a powerhouse of women. I am Dr. Valicia Dunbar. I am president of the Greater First Coast Chamber of Commerce and also founder of the New La Villa. The Greater First Coast Chamber of Commerce I founded in 2021 in response to the threat of black business closures, women business closures, and the large number of immigrant business closures. And I was unable to get information about what was happening here in the city of Jacksonville. What I am interested in doing with the New La Villa is to make that the hub of micro enterprises, including the hub for micro chambers. We are currently in a fundraising campaign. The building is at 318 North Broad Street, and we are excited about the opportunity to do our part in the city and to support the mayor in her economic development initiatives. So thank you all for the opportunity to be here.
No, that's great. That's great. Thank you. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Denise Blue, and I live in this neighborhood, and I live about 4 blocks down, straight down 33rd Street. Mary McLeod Bethune School has been sitting there dormant for over 20 years. I have written letters to Councilman Pittman, and the school is a housing for rats, snakes, and whatever else. It needs to be torn down. If the land is supposed to be quote unquote unlivable, contaminated, tear it down. It's such an eyesore for our neighborhood. Every morning I leave my home, I have to look at this school that shouldn't even be there. If it's gonna close it, tear it down. I don't care what you do with the land. Make it livable, homeless, or whatever, but tear it down. You're closing all the schools in the neighborhood, but they're just sitting there. I understand you just closed Woodson School right here. You tore that down, but that school been sitting there for 20 years. Obviously, nobody in the city councilman ever passed by there, because then you would see what an eyesore it is. Do something with it. I know, more than 20 years.
Okay.
If you would give me about $30, $40 and rent me a bulldozer, I'd tear it down my darn self.
Listen, what we'll do, Nina, you wrote down the school. We'll get the school board. I don't know who owns it. If the city owns it, it'll be a lot easier for us. But the school board owns it. We'd have to deal with the school board and see what their plans are. And maybe we can get it from them and take it down. Let's see what we can do. You got the name of the school? Okay. Here.
Just for FYI, it's owned by a private owner. The city doesn't own it, the school board doesn't own it. So the owner has been trying to sell that property for years, but because it has contamination, nobody won't touch it.
All right, so maybe we can get code enforcement to take a look at it. We'll get the address and have code enforcement take a look at it. Maybe we can motivate the owner to do something about it if we start billing them for code enforcement. Okay, yes? Am I on this side? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carrie Russell, and I have two major things that I am very, very concerned with. One is, in 1995, Mayor Tanzler reported and said on national television that there will be no more septic tanks. All would be removed. All would be removed. And here it is now, 2025. On the north side of Jacksonville, they just replaced some of the septic tanks. However, I have spoke with city council women. I have called the city trying to find out why wasn't the septic tanks removed in the Rebo area. Ribault River Lane, the septic tanks were not moved, they were not touched. I have called and talked to different people over the phone, and it was told to me that the opposite side of the river on Ribault, they were not going to remove those septic tanks. I'm very concerned as to why they're not going to remove them.
Well,
May I say something first? My mother, Mrs. Amanda Louise Parker, she passed away in 2017. She was promised by Mayor Payton. I have pictures of her with him. She was promised by, what's the other? Delaney as well. Nothing has been done. And I am very, very concerned about that as well as the trees along Ribault River Lane on Ribault Terrace. There's a whole row of trees from here to the other end there. And the city sent me a letter and said that those trees had to be removed within 30 days. However, when the city came out and found out that those trees were on the city property, those trees are still there. And this was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. I called 3 months ago for about 4 weeks asking about those trees, because those trees are so thin that it looks like if you just go there and do this, that they're going to tumble down. The last word that I was told is, okay, in August, they're going to have a board meeting and those trees will be removed. Those trees are still standing. They are still there. So I would like to know what is going to be removed about those septic tanks. What is going to happen about those trees before they fall on someone's house or hurt some child walking through that pathway?
Can I speak?
Yes. You may.
Thank you. I'll have Nina say a word or two, but on the septic tanks, it's a multi-billion-dollar issue for us to remove all of those that need to be removed. There's a scoring process as to which ones need to be removed first for environmental issues and what have you. Also, when you're looking at a neighborhood, there's a voting that takes place within the neighborhood whether enough of the people in the neighborhood wants to get on city water and city sewer, which would bring about, bills, city bills, rather than septic tank bills. But the process, I'll let Nina explain the process as to why certain areas of town are before other areas of town. But we're spending $20–30 million a year removing septic tanks, but it's a very long, multi-year process.
Thank you, Mike. So I'll have Janelle go into further detail about the septic tank removal program, and then I'd like to also get your information to talk with you about the trees, because trees falls under Public Works as well. Janelle?
Thank you, yes. So the septic tank removal program is a City of Jacksonville project, but JEA manages it. There was legislation that was introduced, I believe it was 2016, that has all the requirements of the scale of how to determine who gets priority. Every year, the Duval County Health Department tests all the waters throughout the environment in the area, and from that number, based on all the other scoring criteria, is how they determine. So the list changes every year, and the septic tank septic tank phase out project is a really long process And I know that Mayor Deegan was working with some folks at JEA to try to get that process moved quicker. It can take anywhere between like 4 to 6 years for one project. So it is a long process, but I can send you that information. I have an email with, if I can get your email address, I can show you exactly all the specific programs and how it's scored.
And when Nina gets back to you on the trees, she can also indicate from your address whether you're on the, where you are on the pecking order, but there is a pecking order to get it done. It's just going to take a really long time. Trees should be a lot easier.
Yes, my name is Leola Williams from Sherwood Forest, and I wanted to see Mayor Deegan because I want to remind her that I came to the Legend Center on election day, and I waited for her for an hour because nobody was there waiting for her. I called her, and she came and started waiting for herself. So anyway, my concern is the homeless. I don't think that the city is doing enough for the homeless. I see women sleeping on the street. I personally have 2 women get off the street, personally. And I don't think they're doing enough. I know that they did the 12 houses. That's not enough. And we still see people downtown that are homeless, sleeping on the street. Not only downtown, but other places. So that is my concern. The homeless here in Jacksonville, we need to do better.
We do, and we were trying to, in the last year, we tried to put a $10 million effort into homelessness in '24, which was going to be matched by other entities to make it a $40 million effort, but the council rejected the 10. Tracy, would you just come and just give a little bit of a synopsis of all that we are doing and the structure? Homelessness not only is an issue to deal with, but Tallahassee's getting in the middle of it, Washington's getting in the middle of it. It keeps changing, but we're trying.
We are trying, and thank you for that question. Tracy Polson, I'm the mayor's liaison for homelessness, and in addition to the homelessness, we're also trying to do a lot related to affordable housing. They go hand in hand. We've been able to do a few things. As Mike said, we asked for $10 million last year. We have created the first street outreach team, staffed by JFRD. We have increased shelter beds by over 100. Trust me, it's not enough. But as the mayor would say if she was here, the mayor proposes her budget and city council disposes it. So we are doing everything we can to try to push this issue, and we will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Trace. Yes.
Hi, my name is Tamika Jackson, and I'm a resident of the Northside. My concern is the food desert here that is continuously plaguing the Northside. And while we appreciate the dollar stores, the Family Dollars and the Dollar Generals, I'm pretty sure that my constituents in the community would prefer fresh produce over processed foods. We need grocery stores within the community to address that. So my question to the mayor and to the city of Jax is, if we can't get these large distributors such as Publix or Aldi that want to set up more stores within our community, would you be willing to incentivize smaller produce companies, smaller mom and pops that are willing to come in and to address this plague that's continuously affecting our community? Because once again, we need fresh produce, we need fresh meat, and not processed foods from Dollar General and Family Dollar. No shade. And also, can you do something too to address the pharmacy issue as well, since we have pharmacies pulling about the north side as well?
Well, thank you for the question. Before you go, a couple of things. We are very interested in helping and incentivize food distribution and what have you in deserts. We've done it a little bit on the east side already. Ed Randolph which I did see him here before. He's involved and in charge of the economic development throughout the county other than downtown, and he has made efforts in food deserts before, and he would be the individual. So somehow you two have to connect.
Is that him right there?
Yeah, he's standing up.
Yeah, because Regency just got a nice, beautiful Asian market. We would like an Asian market.
Yeah, it's a topic that's not new to us. We've been after it for quite a while. You just connect to her. That's it. Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. Before I begin, my
my thing. I'd just like to point out that Councilmember Salem fairly recently said on First Coast Connect that he was going to continue to permit new septic tanks. So we still have that problem ongoing here in Jacksonville. Now, as what I came here to say is, first I want to thank the mayor, all of her staff, Ms. Pittman, for being here, and our host too. Now, I got to say, I'm totally against the millage reduction. Its benefits are meager for citizens, but disproportionately benefits the wealthy property management companies that are destroying our communities, mine in particular. And as a homeowner, I would rather my share of this city money went to help, appropriately enough, in a church, the least of these. Also, I definitely oppose the Rory Diamond amendment to the budget, and I totally support the Pittman amendment. Now, my question on this is, should the city go against these? Is the veto option on the table?
The budget process is very unique as it relates to vetoes. The mayor will have the opportunity to veto out the amendments if they're in the final budget, but different than all other vetoes that she can do, it only takes 10 votes to override her veto, where normally it would take 13. Just the budget has different rules than all the other ordinances. So if the amendments are in the budget at the end, my understanding and her commitment is to veto them, but they'll discuss it again and possibly override her veto and keep them in. That's the problem. Now, as far as the overall budget is concerned, the ordinance, according to our general counsel, doesn't give us the opportunity to veto the entire budget. But we can stop the budget from being approved if those amendments are in, if enough council members, along with Councilwoman Pittman, says no. They need 10 votes to pass out the budget, and without changing some votes that happened 2 Tuesdays ago, it won't get out. So the possibility of it not getting out with the amendments is real. But if it does get in with the amendments, she'll veto those 3 amendments.
All right, thank you. I'll be there speaking.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Hogan. And the question I had, like 2 or 3 months ago, Jacksonville was voted the most boring city in the nation. We were last on the list. But one of the things I guess is more of what my concern is that if we're the most boring city, we don't really have a lot of things to do for the youth. So the youth are just out here doing whatever, because if they want to go to Cummer Museum, it costs a pretty substantial amount of money, except on the day that ViStar sponsors, everybody goes for free. So like, what plans do we have to make the city less boring? Like, do we have any amusement parks that are like family friendly, budget friendly, that is on the horizon?
Amusement parks I'm not aware of. We have a over $100 million Mosh museum coming on the river. We've just added a women's professional basketball league. We have soccer, professional soccer coming to downtown. Those are the things I'm aware of. I wish that the school system would allow their assets, their gyms and all, to be available at night and over the weekends. A lot of other communities allow that. That would be very good. But as far as more than that, no carousel, amusement park, Ferris wheel, in my understanding, is on the horizon.
So what would we be able to do as citizens to begin to get the school board to open up facilities?
That would be great, to go to the school board and let them know that part of the problem we have with youth is there isn't enough to do at night and on the weekends and during the summer, that using the assets that they own would be very beneficial to be open and available. I'm sure the city would be willing to maybe take up some of the liability issues, some of the security issues, if they would just allow us to get on to campus. That would be very helpful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey there, my name's Daniel. I've lived in Jax most of my life.
I think I'm going to take a couple of steps up and sit. I don't know if it's allowed in this church for me to sit in those chairs.
I'm sure it's fine.
But I can't stand that long. I have a new hip, so I can't stand it. I promise I won't preach. Yes, sir.
So, I know the mayor, with her budget, is planning to focus on the community, you know? And it's been proven time and time again that funding social services is what reduces crime, increases public safety, and builds better communities. Knowing that, why are we putting so much of the budget increase, 100 million of the 110 million, to JSO alone, when it's been proven, again, that the best way to reduce crime, best way to increase public safety, best way to build communities, contribute more to fund public health services and social services? That's my
Can't argue with the premise, because in the long run, those are the things that will change the trend line and what have you. But in the meantime, everybody feels that security is of paramount importance. The part of the challenge and why the budget is so overwhelming to public safety, it goes back to the mayor's comment about 840 square miles. We have the typical challenges of an urban environment like Philadelphia and New York, and we have the challenges of a very rural area at the same time. And that makes our uniqueness as a consolidated government very challenging as it relates to fire protection and to the law enforcement protection. But I don't see anything changing with the way we fund public safety. It's a public issue that they want public safety, and I don't see that changing. What can change is the level of investment and all the other things that you mentioned, because without that, we're going to be spending more and more throughout time. The ultimate answer is more in family and bringing up and opportunities, like I said before, for the youth to have good, wholesome activity rather than not. So I don't disagree with you at all. Is there somebody over there? Yes.
Yes, I'm Gail Kite. We bought a house in 1993, and I had been there 27 years. And they came along and just took my house in 2020, and I tried to pay it off because it went to foreclosure because someone told a lie in the courtroom that I didn't pay my taxes and my insurance, and I did. And I showed it to the young man. But when I got the time mixed up and I missed it, so trying to put a foreclosure on them. But before that foreclosure, I tried to pay it off. I don't even know how old, 30,000. And I had the house for 27 years. I don't know how that came. I ain't missed no payments, because when I didn't have the money, they had programs that paid it for me. And so in 2020, full-blown academic was out. And they say there was supposed to be no foreclosure, then there was. The mail said there wasn't supposed to be no foreclosure. Nobody put out anything. And this man came and put a price on my house for $135,000, which now he claims to have sold it for $350,000. 4-bedroom, block home, 3-bath. That was mine. I can't afford nowhere to live right now.
Are you in the house still or not?
No,
Okay.
they came and took it. Had the policeman working with them and everything, like it was lawful. And I told him not to do that. But one day he came up with the police talking about I had to move and stuff. I've been to the mayor's office several times. I paid my taxes. I didn't want to because I know that they don't do right by us as we pay taxes. But I can't even get to the mayor. She done said that, tell my secretary this and that. And this some lady named Ann now Every time I go there, she blocks it. I haven't got to talk to anybody. Besides that, the $135,000 that he gave, this mail program, housing and partnership, took $65,000 of that. I think it was that much. Saying that, okay, they fixed on my house, but it had been like 8 years. 10 years or 8 years, it was in 2009. And he brought this up in 18, that he was supposed to get the money back. This guy named
All right, let me
Travels.
Let me do this. The person that the mayor mentioned, Tracy, can you get, we've got somebody on staff
Don't do that.
named Josh that can
I
at
need a
least,
place to stay. I cannot stay out like I'm doing now. And every time they tell me this, nobody gets in contact with me and give me anything. I don't make enough. I don't get enough money to live anywhere. I was a housewife for 21 years and I don't get in hardly anything. And I can't afford anywhere to keep. And the ones I can't afford, they won't even let me in. I'm a human being. I'm a senior. I'm 72 years old. I can't keep living like this. Y'all keep talking about calling me as a sister and nobody helps me. That's my house. And I got over all the equity is supposed to be lost. I just had granite countertops put in all wood things. I had a pool in the backyard. This is my time to relax and live. No one should be living in my house but me. Every time I went to court, I got papers where I went to court and nobody responded from the courthouse. Somebody else responded. That's not fair. Then you ask why people take their life or why people hurt other people. You don't know the story. You're just looking at what they did. You need to know the story why people go like that because it's hard. It's hard. I can't enjoy none of my activities I want to enjoy because I'm trying to find a place to stay. And everybody keeps telling me. I just went to a place called Tiny Houses. They done told me I had the house and then take it right back to me. Oh, we got to get some people that was on the list longer than you. Y'all called
okay,
me.
let us try to help you.
Help me.
Let us try to help you. Let us try to help you.
Let Tracy take your info and we'll get you some help. Let Tracy take your info and we'll get you some help, okay? Okay, all right.
Hello, my name is Talise. I've been a resident of Jacksonville for over a decade now, and I have some concerns about JSO. The person who was speaking before me, Daniel, put it really eloquently. We're talking about public safety. You're talking yourself about how you agree that putting money into social services, into affordable housing, into food assistance, et cetera, family services is what is going to lessen crime. It's what's going to better our communities. It's what's going to create public safety. And yet this budget has $638 million going to JSO. It's a $100 million increase from what JSO was receiving last year. Meanwhile, JSO is brutalizing our citizens. I know so many of us have probably seen the video of William McNeil Jr., who is suing the city, suing TK Waters, suing the cops responsible for brutalizing him, and JSO has been killing people. You know, they're out in these communities, they're harassing people, they're killing people in the jails. It's really important that we are putting more money into social services than we are into $100 million increases in JSO's budget. And I don't understand why it is that we are adding more to their budgets, to their resources, when they are out here harassing, brutalizing, and killing us.
Okay. The $100 million, which I don't disagree with at all, totally went to the salaries of the officers. It didn't add, we didn't add one police officer this year. There's been police officers added in previous years, but this year there's not one police officer added. There were a couple of positions added to JSO for dealing with the videos, the cameras that they wear now, that they're getting so backlogged in dealing with the film. But basically, there was a union agreement with public safety, police and fire, and that ended up increasing the sheriff's office budget by $100 million, purely for their salaries. Rightly or wrongly, that's where the $100 million went.
Wrongly.
As you heard me before, I do feel that the real investment is in the social services for the future, but I don't see us reducing the effort in law enforcement anytime soon. The examples of misbehavior, I can't speak to directly. I do see some in the press and what have you. Don't say that they don't happen, but it's really a separate entity. The sheriff's elected separately. It's not like the mayor has a police chief. The sheriff is totally separate. So your issues are really with them. But we support the sheriff. We support what they're doing. And we will continue to fund them until crime is reduced enough that we don't need to. But that's where we are. Yes, sir.
Yes, I wanted to just voice my concern about the comprehensive blight in the black community. We're still living collective racialized trauma. There hasn't been anything, in my opinion, I'm 46 years old. We're still dealing with mass incarceration, school and prison pipeline, the lack of jobs where people can get affordable wages in the black community, particularly when you look at the Kings Road corridor, whatever it's called. So I'm just voicing my frustration. I don't know, I'm not good with politics. I think it's a humanitarian effort, and I think more people need to just stand up and do what's right for the minoritized and the marginalized in this community.
Well, I'm no good at, like you, I'm no good in politics either. But we did make a real effort with litter and blight and what have you. We put an extra $1 million in the budget specifically to enhance a program, countywide program. The council cut it basically to zero, but we're going to still do the program as best we can. Al Ferrero and Melissa are working on it, and it is taking into account the Jaguars are going to be part of it, the Shrimp baseball team is going to be part of it. It's going to be quite a substantial effort. As a matter of fact, we've made the process available for people that want to donate. We have some philanthropic people in the community that feel like you do, that blight is a real problem. And now they can literally donate, and it would be dedicated to that effort as well. Some of the blight is on roads and in areas that we have trouble connecting to because they're owned by the state. We're trying to develop a relationship with the state, so on their roads, either we can get them to do it, or maybe they can have us do it and maybe reimburse us. Most citizens don't know if they're on a state road or a city road, but we're working on that as well. But your issue is one that we have taken upon us ourselves to do something about. You're not alone. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Perry. I'm a member of the Jacksonville Democratic Socialists of America. My question is, which has come up a few times, of course. Mayor Deegan has touted how important it is to her to deal with homelessness crisis in Jacksonville. She mentioned that there's like a 2,600 person wait list.
There's about a 26,000 people wait list to get into affordable housing.
So my question is, why is such a small percentage of the budget to affordable housing and homelessness initiatives when Jacksonville is the eviction capital of the state and the homelessness prevention voucher wait list is 3 to 5 years long?
It's a good question. We've tried to make it more. As I said, we tried to do it big time last year, and it got rejected. Basically, the entire budget that we put in for homelessness and affordable housing, I think, was wiped out. They've come back and put a little back, but they took it out totally. The budget, you know, the mayor takes a lot of heat and sometimes some laurels, but the council's the one that passes the budget. We would do more if they would allow us to do more. There are other entities like HUD, there are federal and state entities that are also in the arena of affordable housing, but we will continue to do more. There's a lot on the queue that would require the city to put in maybe 8 or 9 or 10 million in the coming year to get hundreds and hundreds of affordable housing built. But I don't disagree with you. I didn't know until last time we had a homeless that we were like the head of forfeitures and the head of evictions. I didn't realize that. It's not necessarily a great tag to have.
No, it's not.
But we're working on it. But the more you can convince council, who ultimately decides the budget, to be receptive to our offers, that would be helpful.
Okay. My follow-up question then is, since the council is the one that pushes back on all that stuff, to understand better what you're saying, Mayor Deegan would propose higher if she didn't expect it to get cut? Is it like what you're proposing now is what you want, or is it what you think would be accepted?
If we felt we had a receptive audience, we would have at least gone back to what we tried to do last year. That 10 million was going to be coupled with others to be a $40 million effort and had the ability to be repeated. So we would have put in a much more substantial effort if we felt we had any chance to be successful.
Okay, well, the org that we are a part of is definitely going to be speaking out at City Council. I hope that Mayor Deegan will follow up and put more hopeful initiatives, like putting more money towards it and not keeping it small, to just hope that they accept it.
And the budget, the budget will be passed in the next few days, one way or another. But during the whole year, we continue to do things. And there's still available resources to do things. So affordable housing will be discussed throughout the whole year, because we have, again, in the queue, a lot of gap filling that city is required to do to get affordable housing built, and they're going to come back in front of council one at a time. And I'm confident that many of them will pass. A lot of this is political. The council will vote on affordable housing projects, I'm sure, that they didn't put in the budget but will have to pay during the coming year out of reserves.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, as we wrap up here, hi, I'm Joe Enderhees, I'm Deputy Chief of Staff, which means I work for Mike, and Mike knows that I can't have a captive audience and a microphone without speaking. A lot of the things that have been brought up tonight are countywide issues. There's an incredible countywide program for citizens to plug into. Our CPAC meetings that go on a monthly basis are things where your voice can be heard collectively, right, as individuals, right? We talk about that $1, $1, $1. What does that mean to you? Nothing. But when you collect them all, there's $14 million, right, that could go into all of the things that you're talking about. So I would highly encourage y'all to take part in that CPAC program and keep showing up. Decisions are made by the people who show up. All right, so thank you for showing up tonight. And you could go to the CPAC. There it is. Next meeting is October 9th at 6 o'clock, and you can talk to Thomas Waters about getting involved with CPAC.
He's going to say something, but I want to say thank you for not walking out when they gave me the microphone.